How's it going, everybody? We all know Pokemon Legends CA is coming out later this year, and I'm not the first to do this, but I thought I'd take my stab at it and try to design or speculate what I would like with the final evolutions of the starters, following in the same vein as the last Legends game that gave new regional forms to the final stages of the starters. So in this video, we're going to reveal what those starters would look like if it were up to me. Hopefully you enjoy. Let me know by the end of the video which one is your favorite. Anyways, let's get started. If you choose Chikorita as your starter, you can look forward to eventually getting
Meganium, the herb Pokemon, a grass and fairy type. Due to the overabundance of fey energy emanating from the ancient tree in Lavere City, Meganium and the Kalos region have separated from their counterparts in Johto and gained the fairy type. Locals believe that Xerneas took a particular liking to Meganium and granted it additional power and authority over nature. In any case, this Pokemon is very protective of the flora in its environment, using its connection to the fairy realm to shield and sometimes hide parts of the forest from outsiders. Meganium in this region bring Pokemon of all species together in harmony through their influence and bond with nature. Trainers looking to partner with this Pokemon will find a strong companion that will nurture and guide other members of the trainer's party.
So as you can see, I clearly went with the same route that most artists do when it comes to making a regional variant for Meganium and went with the fairy type, making its antenna more fairy-like, enhancing the flower around the base of its neck and making it more pronounced, elongating its tail, and even adding a budding flower at the end, which I do have plans for should I ever design a mega evolution for this regional variant, which I might do. Let me know if you want it down in the comments below. It seems like the most fitting, and why try to go against that when the possibilities are pretty much endless? I'm sure this is not the first fairy type Meganium you've seen. It can be done in so much different ways and fits so well with Meganium and its personality, especially if you played Pokemon Snap. You've seen how majestic Meganium is in that game. The fairy typing just seems so fitting that has to be exactly why so many people want this out of a regional variant, myself included, which is why I made this design to begin with. So let me know what you think about it in the comments below.
Tepig, get up!
If Tepig is your chosen starter, eventually your team will have
Emboar, the Mega Fire Big Pokemon, a fire and steel type. In the Kalos region, this Pokemon has partnered with miners and construction workers for decades, building a strong sense of responsibility and work ethic. After years of working in the coal mines of Tormentus Cave and helping smelt precious metals, Emboar adopted the steel type, branching away from its Unova counterpart. A furnace bellows in this Pokemon's belly that is able to melt down the toughest metals in a matter of seconds. It can then lower its body temperature when needed to solidify the liquid metal and perform incredible skill type attacks. Emboar will prove to be a hard-working addition to any trainer's team that will be able to withstand and endure many attacks while returning a powerful and fiery retaliation.
You'll notice with this trio that I wanted to create an additional type triangle that flows in the same direction as the original types, mirroring the original Kalos starters, where Chestnut's grass and fighting type were super effective against both Greninja's water and dark typing, which in turn were both super effective against Delphox's fire and psychic, and that super effective against both Chestnut's grass and fighting. And with that logic, I'm sure you could already guess where I'm going to take for Alligator, but we'll save that for later. Anyways, with Emboar's new design, you can see that his eyebrows have outgrown and fused, and I would imagine that they would be made of steel wool or something similar, which is one indicator that would point to its new typing, and I'd like to think that it would use this added cushion for defensive purposes. And in the Pokédex entry, his belly is now a large golden furnace, and I envisioned Emboar being able to raise or lower the bars across the furnace to open it up and possibly launch attacks, or even swallow in material. This is another thing like Meganium that, should I decide to, I could expand upon for a mega evolution of this version of Emboar, which I probably will do at some point. And the last change is the arms, where I kind of try to make it look like lava, thinking that Emboar would be able to harden or melt the molten material around its arms to use at its own discretion. So what do you think of my version of Emboar? Do you prefer this one or do you like the original more? No matter how you feel, I'd love to hear it down in the comments below. And if the Pokemon you choose is Totodile, you can look forward to having
Feraligatr, the big jaw Pokemon, a water and fighting type. Nobody knows when these Pokemon arrived in the Kalos region, but it is widely known that they first appeared in Chalor City, home of the fighting type gym. For generations, Feraligatr gravitated towards the current gym leader at the time, learning and adapting to the precision and ferocity in battle. Eventually, this manifested in the water Pokemon and allowed it to gain the fighting type. When it sheds its skin, Feraligatr will wrap it around its hands and tail for protection so it can hone in on its technique with little to no recoil. Without any formal martial arts training, this Pokemon became a brawler, using its size and strength to overwhelm any opponent. Trainers looking to make Feraligatr a member of their team will find a relentless battler that will push itself to its limits to win every fight.
So as you can see here, the biggest changes I did for Feraligatr, I've tweaked the body shape and extended the yellow plating or accent colors to cover a much larger portion of the body, changed the plating on the knees, and completely changed the tail to resemble a punching bag. It's a little on the nose, but I think touches like this that are silly and goofy help offset the edgy or cool factor of Pokemon, and I think that's what makes a Pokemon versus something like a Digimon or something with a more serious design. I think a balance between the two really sells it as a Pokemon. Other than that, you have the wraps around the hands and part of the tail that are meant to be like hand wraps that fighters use, but the in-universe context is this is skin that has been shed since he's a reptile, and this is actually not the first time I've done something like this in a Fakemon design with a reptile fighting type Pokemon, but I really like the concept, and I'll probably show that other Pokemon in a later video. I don't have a time lapse for it though, it's something I did long before I started the channel, but nevertheless, I really like the concept of using the shed skin to mimic things that humans do. Not a fan of Pokemon wearing clothes, but if you can make them appear to wear clothes in a way that makes sense within the context of an animal or a monster, I'm all for it, and that's what I try to do here with Feraligatr. And this is the only one of the three that if I am going to make the Mega Evolution version of this video, I'd have to go back to the drawing board because I'm not entirely sure what direction I would take a Mega for Feraligatr, with this being the base design, so I'll have to brainstorm. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of this design. Do you like it? Let me know down in the comments below, and just tell me what you think about it. And there you have it. Those are my designs for the upcoming 3 Kalos starters in the Pokemon Legends ZA video game coming out later this year. If these were to be the final evolutions, which one would you choose based on these designs? Are you feeling Meganium? Maybe Emboar is your speed, or perhaps Feraligatr's got what you like. And do you want to see me make Mega Evolutions of them in a later video? All that in the comments below, let me know. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. If you're not subscribed yet and you want to see more Fakemon content, then please hit that subscribe button. Thank you. And with that, I am out. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.